So, sir, also on the sidelines of this summit, the president is expected to hold talks with a number of African African leaders and also head of international organizations. To what extent this summit is considered a chance for Egypt to extend its relations with African countries?
What are drawing our attention nowadays that His Excellency President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, President of Arab Republic of Egypt, is very active. Is very active in Africa internally, yes, and internationally.
Sorry to interrupt you, Mr. Ambassador, and get back to you to continue your answer for this question, as we are joined now over the phone by Dr. Youmn Hamaki, Professor of Economics at Shams University. Good morning, Dr. Youmn.
Good morning.
So, Dr. Youmn, now we are discussing the Africa Forward Summit, which is expected to take place today in Nairobi under the title of Africa-France Partnership for Innovation and Growth. How do you see the importance of this summit and the significance of Egypt's participation in it?
Yes, actually this is a very important meeting in which Africa is with France. They are discussing the potentialities of cooperation, taking into consideration challenges confronting the world economy nowadays. We have severe challenges nowadays, and actually what Africa, we can regard Africa as a continent in deep need for development in order to address poverty and in order to address unexploited resources in the continent. And I believe that Africa should present itself nowadays as a partner, not as subordinate for developed countries, because during the presidency of Egypt to the African Union, there was a very important and ambitious plan towards the industrialization of the continent, because this can be regarded as the main challenge. Africa always relying on exporting raw materials and importing all, manufactured products, and this actually from an economic perspective all the time the terms of trade against Africa. Besides the main challenges of, the lack of, good education opportunities, the very high rate of unemployment, poverty, specifically the phenomena of criminalization of poverty in the continent, as well as the continent, despite that it's not contributing to the emission, the continent is suffering severely from the impact of the climate change, and from here it comes that we need a new vision, and actually we have a vision for the continent in order to change this situation. We need to change the situation so that the continent can become a partner to most of countries of the world, specifically when we are talking nowadays about potentialities of cooperation. France is gathering with most of the African continent to discuss what are the ways of cooperation regarding investment, partnership in investment, transfer of technology, upgrading skills. So it should be a win-win situation.
So, Dr. Youmn, to what extent has Africa become a promising economic power able of attracting foreign investments on a large scale? This question is very important, and when we talk about this question, it could be divided into two parts. The first part is to how extent the continent is full of resources if we refer to
statistics, you can see that the continent, will enjoy the most of mineral resources and natural resources that are quite important for any economic plan nowadays, taking into consideration artificial intelligence and so on. Besides sources of energy, all this making the continent quite an attractive place for investment, for foreign direct investment. But still, infrastructure, it's not quite well. Still, the type of education, still the skills of labor are not quite adequate for requirement of foreign direct investment. So we need to upgrade the situation of the African continent so that to be able to negotiate and to make deals that are for the benefit of the people of the continent.
So, sir, Dr. Youmn, how can cooperation between the governments and the private sector be enhanced to achieve sustainable economic growth in Africa?
The government in African countries, this is a big question mark, because government in African continent need to be, upgrade to the situation of, making plans for the continent and following and monitoring and evaluation. Still we have weak governments. Still we have corruption in the continent, and from here it comes that all this can be considered as main challenges confronting the exploitation of resources for the continent. So this is what we can see in some experience. This is what we can see in some experiences for the continent, and I believe that by time there is a significant advancement in the efforts done towards enhancing the situation of the government. But what you have mentioned regarding partnership between public and private sectors becoming essential for this time. In some of these countries, they have a public sector, and this public sector needs to be, mainstreamed in the developmental process to achieve a better situation and a better economic advancement for this economy.
So, Dr. Youmn, one final question. Could you please shed more light on the role of technology and digital transformation, the role they can play in pushing forward the process of development in the continent? Advancement technology needs, infrastructure. And for most of African countries, they don't have such infrastructure. So we need, first of all, to develop such infrastructure so that to be able to, use properly these technologies. For this matter, we return back to the first question, which is the role of foreign direct investment, to how extent we can rely on foreign direct investment to transfer technology. But from my point of view, actually, and from the experiences, we as economists, we are doing a lot of researches in this matter. From my point of view, we need to enhance the role of scientific research in universities and scientific centers in the African continent. We have a lot of potentialities from our youth in the African continent to develop the scientific research and to link it with, the industries and to benefit from such, patents and creative ideas by our youth, so that to develop our continent. Yes, I'd like to thank you, Dr. Youmn Hamaki, Professor of Economics in Shamsia University. Thank you, Dr. Youmn. And Kenya on Monday hosts the Africa Forward Summit. The summit is entitled Africa-France Partnership for Innovation and Growth. It takes place on Monday, Tuesday, and it brings together African leaders and business executives. More in the coming report.
Kenya on Monday hosts the Africa Forward Summit. The summit is entitled Africa-France Partnership for Innovation and Growth. It takes place on Monday and Tuesday. The summit brings together African leaders and business executives. The French